Oh, witches are we, witches are we, witches are we on a Wednesday. Hello.
Hello. I do love the jingle. It's great. Bloody
I always
marvellous.
get that recorded really rather than doing a live version each time. But, well, I don't know. A bit of spontaneity never goes amiss, does it?
Indeed.
Oh, we have the echo, the dreaded echo. There's an echo in the room. Oh dear! I've just been flicking through a book actually, and it's a kid's book, but it's how to tell if your granny is a witch essentially, and it's really funny. Got it in a charity shop a while back. I think I was with you actually, and just having a quick flick through that to just to brush up basically and make sure that I was doing what protocol expected, because you have to do these things. So
the pointy hat has to be worn at all times. Is
exactly, yeah. We had a bit of a photo session with pointy hats yesterday, which was hilarious because I was busy turfing out the bit underneath my bed to make a den for my granddaughter because she's staying. And of course, various pointy hats were stashed therein. So of course, out they came, as did the camera.
Lovely.
We had a bit of a pointy hat photo sesh. It was all jolly good. Good stuff. So we've got Tony in. Hello, Tony. Hope you're well today. And of course, we've got Hands in as well. Hello. And hello. I know she's in. She's sitting right opposite me. So, yes, how has your fortnight been?
It's hard to believe it's been a fortnight, actually. It's been the usual story, exceedingly busy, much rushing about and doing things. And then I sort of sit down and think, what exactly did I do? Whatever it was, there was a lot of it. There were boot fairs, there was going out and having a meal, there was getting out into the countryside, there was, just generally being and doing. It's all been really rather lovely. And spring is properly here and it's gorgeous, and we had a full moon and just everything.
Yeah, it's been gorgeous, hasn't it? I was out in the woods today actually, because just over the pathway, the bluebell wood that I took you to last year, and it's glorious. Bluebells interspersed with all the wild garlic, of course. And so it was lovely. And I hadn't really said much about it to my granddaughter. She's coming up for 6. And I just sort of said, we're going to go and see some flowers in the woods. And we sort of arrived, walked through the little gate, and she just stopped in her tracks and went, oh, wow. It's like, yeah, I feel like that too. And it really is. And it just stretches for miles. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's not private, but it's not a public woodland either. It's got a bridleway that goes through it, or footpath that goes through it. But nobody ever uses it. So, yeah, it's just completely unspoilt and untouched by human foot. And, it's beautiful. And of course, there's just swathes of wild garlic. So I went there with a little basket and pulled a few leaves off various individual plants. So, yeah, it was just delish. So pesto coming my way. Nom.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I must
but
admit,
they're everywhere at the moment, aren't they?
in my garden.
Yeah. Well, and they're not just limited. There seem to be lots of them this year. They're not just limited to the woodlands. There's lots, when you're driving around, there's lots at the side of the road and, sort of in the shadier parts where there's trees and stuff. They're just everywhere. It's lovely. Really lovely.
Well, everything's sort of come so full on so quickly, hasn't it? I think that's the glory of it all. It's suddenly it's all gone poof.
Yeah, exactly. And I like it when it does that. It's something like, yes, spring has sprung. Like it. We've got Chris in as well. Hello, Chris. And we've got Redwing in. Hello. Both well. Did you manage to get anything done for the full moon? It was the pink moon, wasn't it?
It was a pink moon. Again, time was pretty tricky, but I got to be outside with it. That was the main thing. I just wanted to just absorb it.
Yeah.
The garden is a magical place to be, and the best time is when it's coming up through the branches.
Yeah,
garden. That's so. Yeah, I just spent some time with her.
Yeah. It's lovely, isn't it? Just gazing. Didn't really have the opportunity to do that because I myself was rushing around. But it was sort of, while I was rushing around in the evening, sort of like, sort of looking yeah, there it is around the corner. There it is. And it was lovely. And it was, did some moon magic. But but unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to actually go and sit with it, which is just one of those things. Fiona.
The other way around is I did a bit of sitting with, and it wasn't actually pink by the time I saw it, because of where we are. You have to sort of see it very low for it to actually be pink. So although I didn't see it as pink, I did very much enjoy a bit of full moon casting a lovely light in my garden, which is a bit clearer now because we've been gardening like crazy. That's another thing I've been doing. We've been brewing. Yes, my fella's been brewing nice beer, so that's a good energy. I love that they have the pot in the kitchen and it's fermenting, and you just hear this blub 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 as it's kind of doing its thing.
It's a rewarding sound, isn't it? I love it. Yeah,
it's a satisfying sound, because in a few months' time there'll be something very lovely to drink.
Yeah,
but it's the creative process. It's a lovely thing to do.
No, I must admit, it is a nice thing to do. And I've done various brews, as you know, in my time. Mine's always very makeshift, rather than it being the proper stuff. I sort of don't have the demi-johns and, all the fancy equipment and the bubbly things. I have plastic 5-litre bottles that held water at one point in time from the supermarket, and I punch holes in the top and use cotton wool things for filters to stop the germs getting in, and a balloon to let the bubbles out. But it's also very rewarding, and of course, as you say, you get stuff at the end of it, which is the worthwhile part. Well, mostly it's worthwhile. I've been known to make the odd drink that gives you a pain in the eye fairly instantly, but and sometimes it's a bit on the dodgy side. But if it is dodgy, then I always label it as dodgy, and
drink it as a last resort. I've seen this
drink it as a last resort.
This is known.
Give people the option.
It's the last bottle,
but you might not want to. Yeah, I've written dodgy on this because, well, look, you've been offered dodgy wine before, haven't you?
I have. It wasn't as dodgy as you'd think, but
it wasn't quite as dodgy, was it? Though.
Yeah, but it's that making process, isn't it? I think there's something very primordial about brewing, as like cooking. I mean, that's not where my skill lies. That's Nigel, really. But he hadn't done some for so long, and I kind of sort of gave him a bit of a hefty shove and said, "Please make some." Yeah. And he did. And he's been brewing away like crazy now. So we bottled some of it, and some of it's in a barrel, and nice. Yeah. But he sterilises everything quite thoroughly, so dodgy shouldn't happen.
No, it's not that mine's dodgy. It's just that what I put in it isn't necessarily pucker. So it's my choice of ingredients, perhaps. I don't know really, but anyway,
go a bit freestyle.
No one's had to be hospitalised. I'd just like to say, it's just
No. Well, I've got cast iron guts anyway, so I'm not. As I say, I drink and I know things.
So you do. Oh God! I did some big magic actually on the run up to the full moon, and on the full moon there was some issues that arose that needed some hefty dealing with, unfortunately, and they were sort of sudden issues rather than things that you could preempt. Which is actually why we went around last week. But and actually the majority of the magic done with that consisted of the creation of incense, and the intent of what we wanted was actually put into the incense itself by use of the ingredients, and it was use of numerology as well as the actual ingredients themselves. And it was quite interesting because over the years I've kind of noticed that rather than be so specific about I want this in it and this in it and this in it, as in qualities of magical plants, I tend to sort of sit and think about what, not necessarily what I've got or what I've got access to, but wait and see what comes to me. So it's more of an intuitive thing. And then go, right,
correspondences.
Yeah, exactly. And then think, okay, so this has come to me. And then I'll look up and see, oh, actually, that is a good call, because it's got these properties in it. And actually that's something that's kind of mutated over the years and changed very slightly. Hi Jen. So yeah, it's you know, it has changed very slightly. There's an awful lot of flapping about. Hang on a minute.
Cat.
There's a cat in the squares behind my bum.
Oh,
It's rather
it took me a minute to compute that one. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Oh, there it is. It's the stripy one. Hello. Shuffle it. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Witchin.
Oh, there it is. Hello, everybody.
It's an unwilling bird.
No, it's Hattie.
It's Hattie. It's not a bird at all.
It's Hattie. Hello.
Hello, puss, puss, puss.
Yes, I don't know what's happening at all.
Yes. Where am I? What's going on?
Yes. Standard. So yeah, and it was actually really quite rewarding because we went for 13 different ingredients in the end in this particular instance. So yeah, so we decided on, you know, sort of 13, sort of having got quite a few ingredients in it. It was sort of like we've got sort of 11 or 12. Right, okay, we're going to go for the 13. And actually there was some really, really good stuff in there, and it was nice because it was all done by intuition of, you know, obviously, you know, your knowledge comes into that too. But even so, even with stuff that you're not necessarily as familiar with, it's like, okay, what I'm, you know, getting really strong sense of is that I should be using, for example, borage was one of the things that we used. It's amazing stuff, borage, and it's out everywhere at the moment, isn't it?
It very much so, yeah.
Everywhere. Beautiful thing. I love the colour of it too. And that was really good. You know, it was sort of like, actually, you know, yes, it's really useful for this, but it's really useful for so many things. And the one of the things that I want to be looking at now that we're in the waning part of the moon is looking at something for depression, because that's the thing that, you know, rears its head, unfortunately. You know, in various aspects of life. So borage is brilliant, and it was the original go-to, it seems, you know, sort of way back in the 14th, 15th centuries. It was the real go-to thing for anybody that was suffering from malaise or anxiety and stress and that kind of stuff in, you know, 14th, 15th, 16th century daily life. It was their go-to. So it was interesting that was, you know, and obviously I'd seen it around and therefore it would have been on the forefront of my mind, but it was like, yeah, but it was perfect, you know, for all the attributes that I wanted for this particular incense that I made on the waxing moon coming up to the full moon. You know, it was all the things that we wanted for that. It covered all of them, ticked all the boxes and some. And it's like, okay, use that for that too. Perfect. And I've got plentiful sufficiency of it, so even better.
Sounds like Hansel's producing large quantities.
Yeah,
exactly. Ingredients.
Yeah, and it's doing really, really well, you know. And it's just such a good thing, and it's one of those things you can make tea with it, and the leaves taste like cucumber. So, you know, it's all.
Isn't it prickly? It's quite prickly, isn't it? Was it not? Am I confusing it with something else? The leaves.
The leaves, yeah. Not terribly, but again, I suppose it's one of those things like stinging nettles. As soon as you put water on it, then you know, it takes some of that off. But was that you? Was that you?
Oh, well, it wasn't me, but it was my phone. Not me personally. I'd be very worried if I made a noise like that unbidden.
I'll tell you what, I don't have Alexa. I know most people these days have Alexa.
No,
but I've got one of these old-fashioned wind-up timers for the kitchen, which is in the shape of a pig. And but my granddaughter, who's 5, that's staying, kind of can't get her head around the fact that I'm using this wind-up timer to do a timing job rather than asking Alexa to set the timer.
Of course.
And it's hilarious. So we've renamed my timing device Alexa the Pig. Basic it might be, but it works.
So now you can say you have Alexa.
But Alexa the Pig, it's limited in its choice of what it will do for you.
Exactly. It's not going to tell you a joke now, is it?
It isn't. No. Well, actually, it depends what's coming out of the oven. That could be quite amusing. But anyway, so it depends what colour it is.
Oh, God.
So so I now have Alexa, but it's in the shape of a round pink optical.
Fabulous. Now,
There you go.
Wibble Chick, which is Chris, has said that you can freeze the flowers in ice cubes, and it's fantastic in drinks. Liking that. I'm stealing that one. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Yeah.
Nice
And
and
also, I
tea.
mean, they're edible, aren't they? So you can have them in salads and that kind of thing too. But
And
but the leaves themselves, no, the leaves are edible. So no, I don't think they are spiky.
yeah, I think
they taste like cucumber. But yeah, it is a good go-to thing for sort of general angst and God, all sorts of stuff. Actually, really, really good stuff. Look it up, everyone. It's brilliant. It really, really
I might
is.
put some in my garden then, add to my collection, because I
Yeah,
did have it once actually, because it does like sunshine. So there's only a
Mm.
bit of the garden that it really will do well in. But I did have one. It was huge. It kind of
they grow to about 3 feet, don't they? About 3 feet.
It took over.
Yeah, exactly. But they're easy things to grow. And once you've got it, it's one of those things. It's self-seed, so you haven't got to worry about it. It just keeps on,
Like the forget-me-nots. I have millions of forget-me-nots in my garden.
I love them.
The colour is astounding. Really like it.
I know.
Comfrey. I think it's comfrey that I was thinking of with the prickly leaf, because that is in my garden. And actually, in a lot of ways, I'd rather it wasn't, because I haven't got much space. That's a thug. It takes over.
Yeah.
And the flowers are very different. The comfrey is very small.
Yeah, that's right. And they've got like the bell-shaped flowers, haven't they? And according to what I looked up, because when I was talking to Hans was saying that's comfrey, isn't it? Not, I think that you'll find that's borage. So it was a very common question is, what is the difference? Are borage and comfrey the same thing? No, very much not. And of course, the borage is the bright blue star-shaped flowers. Whereas comfrey's got like the little bells, and apparently they're white or blue or purple. So there you go. So anyway, it's jolly good stuff, and can't recommend it highly enough generally.
Indeed.
So yeah, good stuff. Pretty too. But but it's nice when you're kind of going along, sort of thinking, whereas in years gone by, you sort of trawl the books or trawl the internet, or what's a good ingredient for, I haven't got that, or it's, I don't know, come from South America, so it's got all sorts of all sorts of mileage behind it, which I'm not too keen on. I'm very much one, if at all possible, I'll use something that comes from comes and is indigenous, rather than it coming from anywhere else.
It makes sense if you can. Yes.
Yeah, if possible, and I'm very sort of aware of the carbon footprint and all that jazz. So if I can go out and get it for nothing because it's in my front garden, then I'm definitely not going to be forking out silly money for something that's travelled halfway across the world.
Exactly.
So, but it's good stuff. I mean, I've got general go-to things, that tend to be present in a lot of incenses and things that I make. But this time it was quite nice because there was a lot of variation. We had dill in it, for example, and so because of the properties that we wanted to bring in from dill.
Did you dry them first? Nice. You had to dry them before using them?
No,
just put them on wet.
Yeah, put them on wet. And actually, what was really nice was the fact that we still got some. Thank you. So what was really nice about it was that because lots of resins were used, didn't use any essential oils at all. But because lots of it smells amazing. Because lots of resins were used, you built up your muscles, didn't you? Good old mortar and pestle. But look how it's come out. Look. It's amazing. So it's come out like this. Whoops.
Oh, up a bit. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's come out in these sort of clumps, because although sort of resin was in there, so some gum arabic and what else was in there? Gum arabic. You're going to put a thing up. Hans is going to put a thing up with the ingredients in it. But yeah, it's amazing. So it's come out like these, and you put them on a charcoal disc, and they sizzle and smoke and whatever.
That looks like a crystal almost.
Yeah, it does, and it's fantastic. But it's got the the rosemary. We've got rosemary just shredded straight off the stalk. It's got dill in there, again, not dry, just cut straight out of the garden. The same with the borage. It's got lavender in it. That was dried.
Yeah.
And some sage.
So there's a lot of resin in there that actually binds it together.
Yeah. But it's quite nice, and the fact that it's kind of wet meant that it did sort of clump itself back together. And I think you laid it out on a newspaper overnight, didn't you? Sort of get a bit of some of the moisture. Oh, you didn't in the end, but you did. I just sort of spread it around. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's it's excellent. You just stick that on a charcoal disc, and it does its thing. It's all well and truly mixed up. It's not individual, sort of bits that are just plonked together. So yeah, it smells amazing.
It does look kind of interesting. We were watching Breaking Bad. It kind of reminds me. Is it blue?
Exactly. Yeah, none of that. So yeah, what else was in there that was fresh? I think. Oh, there was some fresh yew leaves in there.
Oh yes.
Rosemary.
Yeah, rosemary was fresh. Dill was fresh. Borage was fresh. Oh, 4 bluebells cut from the garden. Not from any woodland, but the actual 4 individual flowers.
Yeah.
Sort of could just cut off the stem so that the actual plant wasn't hurt. But as I say, it wouldn't have mattered because it was in the garden rather than it being wild. So that's an important thing. So it's frankincense and myrrh was in it. Benzoin, gum arabic, yeah. And then sage, rosemary, dill, borage. Can't remember.
Chamomile.
Oh yeah, chamomile. So we raided the tea cupboard. That's tea bag. Split that open. But as I say, numerology went into it as well. So it wasn't just some of this, pinch of that, some of that. There was various bits of numerology went in there for certain reasonings too. So lots of thought went into that, and an awful lot of muscle power as well. Because that's one of the downsides of using the fresh stuff. It's sticky.
Yeah.
And but it does. It smells like. You wish you had smell-o-vision, because it smells absolutely amazing. It really does.
Castlebark is that like cinnamon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I made a whole big jar of it. Good. I hope to get to smell it sometime then.
Yeah. But it's amazing stuff. But it's it seems to be working very nicely already, which is good. And here we are, less than a week after sort of beginning to burn it. We've been burning it a lot. And it's doing really rather nicely. So symphytum, comfrey, pounding for hours. Yes, you were. Yeah. So it's good stuff. Really, it smells, and it just burns so well, doesn't it? Yeah. Comfrey is also bone set. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's good for the whole joint problems and breakages, isn't it? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Good stuff. So it's just a slightly different way of working rather than just sort of looking things up on a table or in a book and going, oh, actually, I think one of those. It's quite nice to actually kind of feel and think, okay, what's going to come to me intuitively? Is this correct? And very often it is. And it might be that you have to kind of search a bit and go, oh, well, that's a strange thing. And then suddenly you think, do you know what? That's an element of the spell that I hadn't yet thought about. And actually, it's a seriously important thing. And it's quite often it'll be that is the reason that it's in there, not because it's necessarily, if you wanted to bring, I don't know, say you wanted to bring harmony, for example, into your life, it wouldn't necessarily bring in harmony, but it might bring something else in. This particular, intuitive ingredient that you might suddenly think of might not be specifically for harmony or anything even remotely similar, but it will bring something else in that's absolutely essential. For
that you won't get harmony without.
That you can't possibly have
having to do something else first.
That's where sitting with it really comes into its own, rather than just sort of going down a list of ingredients. And it's it's just one of those things that's mutated very slightly over time. But I love it. I really love it. I love all that. So so it's all good, and it smells lovely. Even better, double whammy.
If only I had smelly vision.
If only you had smelly vision, indeed. Absolutely. No, it's really good stuff. We'll put some of that on in a bit, I expect. Yeah, so that's been good.
Wow.
So, went off to a concert on Saturday.
There's nothing more uplifting, is there, than being in an energetic crowd with glorious music.
Yeah, and actually, it was such a necessary thing. You know, it's been a really difficult couple of months. Certainly a difficult month, but it's been a difficult couple of months. And it was so good getting out. And it was at the venue was in Guildford. Actually, it's a venue that I'd never been to before, but it was in Guildford. And it's quite God. I'd definitely go back. The acoustics in there are really good, and not only are the acoustics really good, but they're how I like them, which is that when there's a bass note, it goes right through one side and out the other.
Yeah.
Like boom, woof. And it seems to me that there's a lot of venues that have kind of turned that down a bit over the years. But I rather like that. I like to be able to feel what I'm hearing. And it's amazing. It truly gets you out of yourself and it lifts your spirits. And the band that we went to see was Skunk and Nancy, but it had 2 bands on with them, and they were brilliant as well. Absolutely corking. They were brilliant. Yeah, it was like, 4 hours of music for 30 quid. It's like, we can't say fairer than that. So yeah, it was really good value as well. So yes. Oh, we've got a Bert. We have Bertage. Hello. Hello. Come say hello. Yeah, okay. We have Bert. Oh, yeah, oh,
there he is.
there he is. Unhappy Bert. He
He's
says
not
he's
enjoying
been
that.
made. No, he's been made to be outside all day because there's a child in the vicinity.
Oh, I see. He doesn't want to associate with child.
Not on your Nelly. No, thank you. No. No. Look at that face. Does that look like a cat that wants to associate with small children?
Not really.
Not. No. Do they put food in dishes? No, they don't. Are they worth bothering with? No.
They clearly serve no useful function.
Exactly, yeah. Dirty and irritating. Don't fill up bowls. No. Completely a waste of time.
And
So,
high-pitched.
Yes, very high-pitched. So, yeah. Oh, we've got another one. Oh, we've got a snip snot. Oh.
Blimey, full house.
Oh, yes, full house, yes. Any more? Any more for any more?
Oh, it's not feeding time.
It might be, apparently. I'm going to have to wait now.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So it was really, it's just so good to get out in the concert. It really was.
Well, after all these years, it's been so long since people have been able to do it. So it's all the more heightened and magical for the fact that all those energies are combined together.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I did get to go to a concert in November, and we went off to go and see Soft Cell, if you remember. And they were brilliant. They was up.
Jealous about that too.
I know. And that was up at Hammersmith, and that was really, really good. But of course, it's a huge, great venue, and you're sort of like seating up in the gods, basically. And it's sort of
it's not the same.
No, it was just that little bit further removed. Not that it wasn't a brilliant concert, because I wouldn't knock it for it. It was excellent, actually, and he crooned, I think, yes. He crooned. He queened. I mean, crooned. For a couple of 2.5 hours, I think it was. And actually, it was excellent. It really was. It was good atmosphere and stuff. It was fantastic. But this venue in Guildford, if anyone gets the opportunity to go. And it's really good. And it's small enough to sort of feel quite intimate, rather than it being disjointed. Really good. Really good. So, did me the world of good. Had a good old sing-song and got dressed up to the nines, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, good opportunity. So, yeah. And something that was really bizarre, that badge that I've got, my favourite badge. I have my badges on my leather jacket. Or leather, leather jacket. And it's the one that I got in New Zealand, with the lips on it that it says "My mouth, my choice."
Yes.
Yeah. For anyone wondering, it's vegan. It's a vegan badge. Doesn't have other connotations. Just in case you're wondering. I did get asked by my daughter. Oh, she got put straight. Anyway, I lost the bloody thing, and I was absolutely gutted because I got it in New Zealand, as I mentioned, and I was so upset that I'd lost it. And I knew that I'd lost it having arrived at the car park in Guildford. And so it could be anywhere from the car in the car park to back home again, but it wasn't at home or in the car, and I was absolutely gutted. And yeah, it was just one of those things. And I'd looked online, there was nothing even remotely similar, so I couldn't get myself a replacement or anything along those lines. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to, speak to somebody that I know that lives near Wellington in New Zealand and ask her to go to this little vegan cafe to see if they still do them 3 or 4 years later. Absolute desperation, because I love this badge so much. And you suddenly had a thought, was it?
Spirit.
Yeah. Spirit came along, had a chat with Hans, as per usual, who said, look in the boot, look in the boot. Okay. So just so happened, and you forgot about it, didn't you? And then when we were sorting out underneath the bed for Evie to sleep, make her a little den when she came to stay, and she knocked my box that's got my my boots in, my big boots that I got at Christmas time. Turned the boot over, and the badge had stuck itself into the sole of my boot.
Wow.
Now, what are the chances of that, for it to not only fall off, but land face down with the pin up so that I stand on it, walk around with it all evening, and then there it is.
So these were the boots you wore to the concert?
Yeah.
So it didn't scrape it all off or damage it?
No, because it's one of those metal enamelled pins.
Oh, I see. Oh,
yeah.
Blimey. So it was under your foot all the time?
So it was underneath my foot, yeah. And I thought it was lost, well and truly lost. And it wasn't. It was literally pinned itself into, they've got those big, thick soles on those boots, haven't they?
Yeah, you were wearing your chunky monkey boots.
Yeah. What are they? They're New Rock boots. Yeah,
New Rocks. Yeah, I know, like mine.
And yes, I was wearing them. And yeah, and it had impaled itself in the sole of my foot, or the heel of my foot. And yeah, I've been walking around with it, and it's like, but what are the chances of it falling down and then me being the one to stand on it and then wander about with it? How cool's that?
Well,
so I haven't lost it. So relief.com.
Well, yes, it's still worth getting another one just in case. You may as well.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know where I'm going to be able to get one from, because I don't, the cafe that I went to was this funny little cafe, in the middle of Wellington. I know, and I have got some friends that live in New Zealand that live near enough for it to be doable for them to go into town. Next time they're in town, perhaps they'd nip into the cafe. But it was just sort of a little bowl that was on the counter that had these little badges in, and you sort of bought them for $5 or whatever it was. So yeah.
Wow.
So yes. So yeah, I was gutted, but it was that whole, the probability of it being, and the fact that Hans got spirit telling her where it was, and I was so upset. I've looked up, hunted high and low on the internet trying to find anything even remotely similar. Nothing.
It's a lot closer to home.
Yeah, and there it was.
Goes to show you don't always have to go as far as you think to find something.
Exactly. So yes, I need to put it under lock and key until I've got a new way of attaching it much more safely.
Yes.
Rather than what?
The lockable ones.
Oh, the lockable ones. Yes, Hans found some that you can lock, apparently. So that will stop it. Hopefully, stop it from parting company. So how amazing is that? It is really special. I mean, as I say, it was only cheap, but it does mean a lot to me, actually. And it's a vegan thing, and sort of obviously it reminds me of when I was in New Zealand with my daughter, and all that kind of stuff. So it's got a lot of, it's not a valuable item by any stretch of the imagination, but it means a lot to me. So and I was really upset that I'd lost it, and I haven't lost it. So
there you go. You see.
So yeah. So it's all good. Yeah. Managed to do some drumming this morning.
Oh,
yeah. Bit impromptu. Basically, granddaughter found one of my umpteen drumsticks and appeared with it in the doorway and said, "Which drum can I hit?"
Fair question in your house. Yes.
It's like, well, which one would you like to hit?
Yeah.
This one.
It doesn't make a horrible noise.
Yeah, exactly.
AM.
But actually, no, she went for the bass remo. choice.
Nice.
Yes. So yes. So
Got
we had,
taste.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, so we had a bit of a sesh this morning. That was a good way to start the day.
Neighbours might not have thought so.
Don't care. They've got a dog which barks all the time, so I don't care.
Exactly. I think you're entitled to make some
I
noise.
think so, yeah. And bearing in mind, this is probably about 10 o'clock as well by this time. So it wasn't as though it was, the crack of God knows what. So, it's sort of 10 o'clock-ish. So, yeah, it's like, yeah. But it was good. Nice way to start the day. So, yeah. Can't beat a bit of drumming, I don't think.
This is true.
Yeah. And of course, when we have time off drumming, I really miss it too.
It has been kind of strange. Yeah, not to have it, but it starts again next Monday, doesn't it? So
yeah, we're back next Monday.
we'll be there. But it looks like all the things that were on and the one thing I could make has been cancelled. So the events.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a bit tragic.
I know.
But also,
really, but yeah, 10 a.m. Yes, it was actually 10 a.m. I know it felt like about 5, but no, it was actually 10.
That would feel like the early hours for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, what have I missed up here then? Because there's loads of stuff and I've completely...
Lots of lovely comments.
I know. I've been basically ignoring everybody. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. So we've got Fauna, and I mispronounced your name as Fiona because I didn't have my specs on, so I do apologise. Hello, welcome, and hello. Oh yeah, the moon through the bedroom window. You can't beat that. It's lovely when you just, I don't know, you can just see it and you've got that moonlight coming through. It's amazing, isn't it? Just wonderful. Yeah. So no pains in the eye if you remember to take the spoon out, says Chris. Oh yeah. That's an age-old joke, isn't it?
Yeah. Oldies are the best.
An oldie but goldie, I think they call that.
They would, yes. An oldie but a goldie.
Mussels?
Yes.
Mussels? Mussels?
Yes,
where?
compounding of incense.
Oh, no.
Mussels.
Oh, right, mussels. Hang on a minute. Okay, where are we? Hang on, I'm going all the way down. Diddly-doo. Green tea. God, you actually met Skin a few years ago, Chris. Oh, lucky thing. Apparently she's brilliant. Apparently she's really, really mumsy too.
I think she's as nice a person as you'd think she possibly could be.
Yeah. No, apparently she's really mumsy. We were chatting to a couple of the the lead singers of the support bands, and one of them was saying how she'd managed to be out in the sunshine the day before and catch a bit too much sunshine. And Skin was like, get in my dressing room now. And she's like, I'm going to get told off. And she's like, oh, you need to put some stuff on. I've got some stuff. I'll put it on for you. And it's like, look after your skin. You've got, she was really, really mumsy. Really sweet.
Oh.
So, yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, Rocky Horror. Oh, yes, definitely. We need to sort that out. No. I'm missing the bit about the mussels. Where is it? You're saying about you can pronounce green tea. Herbs for mussels. Right. And what is wrong with the mussels? I can't see it. What's good for mussels? Here we go. Capicatu, ashwagandha, rhodiola, and bitter orange, saffron, and cinnamon. Yes, they're not easy things to pronounce. Nothing closer to home, possibly? Anything possibly closer to home? Shall I have a look in one of my books that's a bit more British? Shall I have a look? Excuse me, bum, then. I'll fish out a book that's a bit
green
more...
tea and turmeric. The turmeric's meant to be quite cleansing, isn't it? Good for the liver.
Exactly. Well, let's get out the Treadwell's plot magic, shall we?
Indeed.
Right, let's have a look and see if we've got anything helpful in the index, shall we? Mussels.
It's
Oh.
a good stretch. Usually
Yeah,
a very good thing for muscles.
yeah, definitely.
Yes, I've been partaking of Pilates lately, and my goodness me, I've got muscles I never knew I had. So, It's really good, but
It's always a bit of a shock to the system to find some that you've not realised that you possessed, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yes, that's the thing. It's quite nice to just do something in a different way, and that's why I, much as I love yoga and always have enjoyed that for many years, it is nice to do something that's just that little bit different. It makes you look at things a bit differently.
Definitely.
Right,
I'm going to ask Tony to be a bit more specific, because obviously we've all got muscles in varying capacities. Exactly. Which ones and what have you done to them? And is it that you want some? You want to be a bit more muscular? Is it that? Or have you got aching muscles and pain, or degenerating muscles, or what? So if you can be a bit more specific, obviously we can be a bit more helpful for you. So yeah, it's one of those things, as I say, because we've all got muscles. We've got muscles in our eyelids and all sorts of things. So obviously, you've got that whole you've got sort of like different areas of the body and things like that, and various different ailments to boot. So yeah, and as Jen says, arnica for muscle pain and aches, and arnica of course also brings out bruising and things like that. So
accelerates healing too.
It does, yeah. And then you've got calendula. That's another one, isn't it, that you can rub on? Oh,
yeah, you can get
pine nettles direct to the skin. Feels like sunburn.
No.
That's supposed to be really good for arthritis, isn't it?
It is. There's a bit of me that just goes.
I know, but I have, quite a.
Do react to things like that quite badly sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are many things. It depends what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you can be a bit more specific, Tony, then we'll see if we can help you out. Yeah.
How might be due to his fall?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Tony had a fall. Was it last week or the week before? A couple of weeks ago, maybe 3. Yeah, Tony had a fall a little while ago, so maybe it's something to do with that, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which could be
bruising. But again, it would make a difference as to, where the aches and pains are, whether it's all over, or because obviously you've got the whole thing of sort of soaking in the bath and various herbs that you can, or essential oils that you can add to bath water and things like that. At this point, please don't just add neat essential oils into your bath water.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not. You'll get burnt. You'll get burnt skin. So use a carrier. So even if you mix it up with a little bit of bubble bath or a bit of shampoo or something like that, mix it up so it acts as an emollient, and then it spreads out throughout the water rather than sitting as an oil slick on the top and then being in direct contact with your skin. Very, very bad idea.
It will also make the bath slippery as well. Nobody wants a second trip.
So. No, exactly. But as I say, as much as anything, it will, it can be very, very dangerous to your skin, and you can actually get quite nasty burns off it. Too old to get muscles. Oh, Tony, I don't know about that, you see. Having trouble with calf muscles. They seem to pull easily like they're stretching. It's been going on for months now, even before the fall. Right. Okay.
That could be tendons and things as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The ligaments as much as the muscles. It could be a tightness.
Yeah, definitely. So general stretching, sort of like, on a practical level, general stretching and things like that. Epsom salts, they're always a really good thing too, aren't they?
Yes.
They're always a really good thing. And they're basically magnesium salts, aren't they?
Yes, they are, aren't they? You're right.
Yeah.
But yes, and it may be that, you have to sort of massage the muscles a bit to sort of encourage them to loosen.
Yeah.
And make sure you're warmed up before you do things.
Yeah.
But, all sorts of things can cause that.
Yeah. And of course, as you say, warmed up, that's key, isn't it? We've just come out of, the winter and a chilly spring. And again, if you're sort of like, out wandering around and it's chilly and you have got cold muscles, unfortunately, the older you get, the more difference it makes, actually, doesn't it? It really can. Even just setting off on the wrong foot because you've suddenly thought, oh, actually, I need to go and buy a stamp in the post office and change direction, can seriously set you back a long, long way, simply because it's, if it's chilly and it's a muscle that's not warmed up, can make quite some difference. And it's, you know, I speak from experience there. Actually, I really hurt myself last year.
You can sort of wrench your muscles, can't you? If you
And
move in the wrong way.
I tore some muscles really badly last year, to the point where I had internal bleeding with them, and I was in really quite a bad way. And that was in the early part of last year. And the bruising that I had from it, it looked as though I'd literally been hit by a lorry, and I hadn't. And actually what had happened was I'd been standing still. It was when I was filming, and I'd been standing still, and on action I had to suddenly run and then change direction, and it was that. And that's all it was.
But you were very cold then when you were filming. It was really cold, wasn't it?
It was really, really cold. It was -5 on some days, and I got wet. But yeah, this was a colder day, not one of the coldest days. But it was literally, you know, just, you know, on action, run, and started to run and ripped my muscle so badly that I had internal bleeding with it, and it looked like I'd been hit by a car. So yeah, you know, as I say, it was purely because I went from a standing start with a cold leg.
Yeah, literally. You just forget that you
and you do, and you forget that you're getting a bit older, and actually you need to be sort of jiggling about a bit.
Yeah. Chris says, you know, you're getting older and you have a fall. Younger people fall over or trip. Yeah. I'm still falling over as opposed to having a fall. But
exactly. You don't get that. So Epsom salts is good. Obviously soaks in, you know, warm baths with Epsom salts. Arnica, yeah, most definitely. And calendula as well. That's another one of those real gentle things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's marigold, isn't it? Calendula.
Yeah. But also, as you were saying earlier about turmeric, that's quite a good one, isn't it? Because it kind of is that warming thing, and it kind of penetrates the muscles as it goes around there.
It seems to be one of those good all-rounder kind of things that people do swear by.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's good stuff. Mind you, it makes your tongue a funny colour, doesn't it?
It makes everything a very funny colour. It stains quite badly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, that actually, this whole thing about balance and that is one of the reasons why I kept doing yoga for so long and why I do Pilates. Because if you know, if you've got the core strength, it's less likely that you're going to do something that's kind of goes against what your body's meant to do.
Yeah.
So who knows if it works? Only time will tell. But I'm kind of hedging my bets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, difficult.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Chris is in a situation, she says, where you know, desperation, saying about the stinging nettles. Pain medication isn't something that works for me, or anaesthetic. And if you're in that situation, pain meds don't work.
Yeah. Horrendous.
Exactly, that's not good, or anaesthetic, as you say. So, like for me, I can't have morphine because it doesn't work. You know, there's some people that morphine doesn't work for, and I'm not. So, you know, you sort of think, okay, well, it's not very helpful.
Good to know.
But, you know, it's just one of those things. But yeah. Right, hang on a moment. Let's see what this book's got here.
Yeah, mine are all in a different room. This is my office as opposed to my witchy bookcase.
Yeah, exactly. All witchy bookcase. There's a couple of things that I'm going to look up later, but I'm not telling you what they are.
That's me told.
I'm not telling anybody what they are, so there. I'll look at that later on. Where are we? What?
Someone's just exploded in the corner.
Oh, this is good. Death as a theme. That's not something I was planning on looking up later, but death as a theme is listed.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Slightly out of context, but there you go.
Exactly. Yeah, very strange. That isn't what came on, but yeah. Where are we? No, can't see it. It's not listing in that particular way. This book.
That is the problem with books. They're not always as logical as they should be.
No, it's actually, this is pretty good, generally speaking, but it's yeah. But as for sort of like muscles, it's not. Yeah. You know, obviously you've got various things that are particularly for pain and things like that, but obviously it's a specific thing, and that just treats the you know, what happens rather than the root cause, doesn't it? So, yeah. What I'll do, Tony, is we'll have a look at some bits and pieces and make some suggestions, and we'll. Oh yeah, the Simples thing, Chris. Yeah, that's being well and truly raved about, isn't it? Melusine Draco's new book, Simples. That's well and truly being raved about. So yeah. So, but Tony, what we'll do is we'll have a little look, and then we'll send you a message and give you an idea. Yeah, as to what might be helpful. Yeah. Yeah. I really, really like this book. You know, it goes into details that other books haven't generally done.
Yeah.
You know, and it sort of comes at things from a slightly different angle. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not got in the order that I'd like it in. But anyway, I'll have a look, and I'll send you a message, Tony. So yeah. Also on the Witches Inn, I think it was about a week or so ago. So it's probably about 8 posts ago. On the Witches Inn, on my Witches Inn, on Facebook, which is my Facebook page. I put a thing up, which is quite a comprehensive index of various different herbs and ailments and stuff like that. So you can look it up alphabetically. So that's on there too. So yeah, that's quite a good thing, as I say. And that was about a week or so ago that I put that up. So yeah, so that's quite useful. So there we go. So I suppose, as it's 9 o'clock, it's time that we said toodle pip, really.
We need an outro as well as an intro, you know. We need another little...
I know. The outro, though, is Heather do an awkward wave, generally speaking.
Usually it is, isn't it? Awkward wave. Be quiet.
Yeah, all right. I'll have my thinking cap on then for an outro.
Well, you're so creative. You're good at jingles.
Well, I don't know about good. I think that's probably a bit strong. But
Too hard.
I don't know. I think my crowning glory is the B3000. I think that.
Oh, we love that.
Which, if anyone's wondering, is a road.
It's a road in Essex somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's not in Essex. It's in deepest, darkest Surrey or Hampshire or somewhere there. It's near Guildford, I think, isn't it?
I think we were in Essex when you told me about the B3000.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Everyone.
Anyway, so yeah, it's a jolly good road if anyone wants to try it out. But
as roads go, yes, pretty fine.
And I've made up a jingle for it, so there you go. So I'll do it again for you. The B3000. So,
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. Sorry, I'm completely barking mad. Anyway, so anyway, good night, everybody. Heather, do your awkward wave.
Awkward waving.
Awkward waving. And we'll see you next Wednesday, hopefully.
Bye.
Right. Toodle pip. We'll see you soon. Have fun witching.